Hello everyone, this is Tormues, and I'm picking up where I left off in Doki Doki Storm. There's a good old Yandra Yuri there. Getting increasingly nuts as this act goes on. Don't judge me for writing this. Yeah, where we last left off, Yuri and Natsuki had their fight. Yuri went on her little face journey in the mirror. Becoming, I don't even know how to describe it. Let's just get into it. Just get into it. It's after school. I'm heading to the club room. I'm practically bursting with excitement and anticipation of what I'm about to do. As I enter the room, the first thing I see is Monica sitting at a desk, reading a book. She doesn't look up as I approach her. I gently place my hand on the back of her head for better leverage. Turn that volume back down. I turned the music volume up just for that bit there. I've never felt so alive. I gaze at the blood in my trembling hands, enjoying the smell and the taste of it, taking it all in as many ways as possible. I turn to Tormues. His whole body is shaking. He must be very excited to see me. It's good to see you again, Tormues. I've been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this for my whole life. Thank you for doing that, Yuri. Now we can be together forever. You'll never be alone again. Come, let me ravish you. What a nice dream. Sorry. It's not funny, it's horrible. Really. It was all horrific. That was such a fun bit to code, though. And the music track used there, that's courtesy of Jadedev, who I basically told him I wanted to make it sound like the world is coming to an end, and yeah, it came out. That music track came out really well. There's a fun little bit of coding there, just in the transition between the two different versions of Moonlight Sonata, the piano version and the guitar version. Just so that I can move seamlessly back and forth between them, and also, just generally highlight the intensity of that scene there, where just showing how far gone Yuri is getting from being the shy, gentle one to fantasizing about, murdering her clubmates. And moving on. An omen of good things to come. I take a moment to stretch out in bed, continuing to fantasize about everything I'd like to do today. And then I notice something odd. Why am I wearing my uniform? I wear my pajamas to bed, right? It appears to be my spare uniform, except why am I covered in blood? Was I playing with knives in my knives in my sleep? Blood everywhere. So much blood. Oh, wait, there's less blood now. What was that? Am I hallucinating? I don't remember that happening ever before. But then again, my memory isn't what it used to be, I think. My head is feeling fuzzier than ever. There definitely seems to be blood on my uniform, though. I can feel it and smell it, and it doesn't taste like mine. I need to go somewhere I can inspect myself better. Excuse me a moment. Sorry, I had to pause for a moment. I just some water went down the wrong tube there. Excuse me. Yeah. Things getting a little horrific in here. Moving on. Well, I'm definitely no stranger to the sight of blood. I just wish I could remember what happened. That was a dream I just experienced, right? It wasn't real. I didn't really kill Monica and Natsuki, did I? Blood, 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 blood. Cut them open. Blood spill everywhere. I shouldn't be fantasizing about killing people. I'm pretty sure it's bad, isn't it? ... Well, one thing I am certain of at this point is I can't go to school like this. Where's my regular uniform? I think I put it in the washing machine. I go downstairs and find my uniform in the dryer. Don't remember putting it in there, but I'm glad it's ready to be worn. I'll just add that to the growing list of gaps I've observed in my memory. Soon I'm cleaned up, changed, and ready to go. There are bruises on my left thigh around the marks from Tormues' pen, but fortunately my skirt is long enough to hide them. I'm still feeling unsettled about the confusing circumstances surrounding my morning so far, but I'm doing my best to put it from my mind. I try to recapture the feeling I had last night, and it makes my choice of which knife to bring today obvious. Pyro! Sorry. Pyro! I grasp Pyro's red handle and take them down from the rack. Taking a moment to admire the pattern of flames across their surface. Something to ignite the fires of my passion. I slip them into my pocket and head out. Yeah, so like what we have happening here is Yuri's becoming a more and more unreliable narrator. Just in addition to just generally losing her mind, she's becoming forgetful about things that are happening. Also, Pyro is non-binary, hence they, them. Neither male nor female. Anyway, what, do you expect a knife to have a gender? Anyway, after an inconsequential school day, I eagerly enter the club room. I'm disappointed to find that Tormues isn't here yet. Then again, I am fairly early. The only one else here is Natsuki, slumped over in a seat with her head down on a desk. Is she sleeping? How did you get here before me? She must have come here before class ended. Or could she have been here since yesterday? After I killed her? No, wait, I didn't kill her. Monica indicated that she's alive, right? I wish my memory wasn't feeling so distorted. I don't know what to trust anymore. I dreamed I killed her last night, but it was just a dream. It wasn't real. How would I even feel if she was dead? I'm pondering this as I move to stand over her. She's my rival, my nemesis. It would be good to be rid of her. My hand goes to my pocket to feel Pyro's grip. It would be so easy to just end her life right now. It's getting harder to remember the reasons not to do that. But I know I felt regret when I thought I killed her yesterday. Because why? I'm trying to reach back into my memories to remember why. Because I wanted to be friends with her? Is that right? The more I try to remember, the more confused I get. I've never had friends before. Why would I want her to be my first friend? I know I hate her, and yet I seem to remember some part of me, on some level, liking her. But the more I think about it, the less certain I am. In fact, the longer I stand over her, the less certain I am that she's even alive. Is she breathing? I can't tell from this angle. I release my grip on Pyro and take my hand out of my pocket. I tentatively poke Natsuki's shoulder. What do you want, Yuri? I was just making sure you were sleeping. She groans and slowly pulls herself to her feet. Quit being weird. She walks past me to the closet and starts looking through her manga. Weird. That word feels important. I remember it being a hateful word. She must still be angry at me. Considering that I tried to kill her, I guess some anger would be understandable. Nevertheless, there's nothing to do but sit and get back to my book. Within a few minutes, Tormues enters the room. Welcome back, Tormues. Hi, Yuri. Now that he's here, I'm not sure how to say what I wanted to say to him. I glanced back at Natsuki, who is now sitting at a nearby desk reading a manga. She seems strangely uninterested in Tormues' presence for someone who is trying to split us up, but I'd still rather not take any chances about being overheard. I'm holding his arm, pulling him to the corner. It takes all my willpower to stop myself from pulling him into the closet and acting out my fantasies of cutting him open. I force myself to let go of him. About yesterday, I really need to apologize. Nothing like that has ever happened before, and something just came over me, I guess. I wasn't acting mentally sound. Please don't think we're usually like this. Not just me, but Natsuki as well. Yuri, I'm happy that you were considered and apologized. You don't have to worry too much. Even though I've only been here a couple of days, I could tell something was off yesterday. My heart swells with relief. He understands, even though I didn't finish my explanation. Maybe we were just a little extra sensitive because it was our first time sharing poems. But whatever it was, it didn't make me think any less of you. I had already decided there's no way you can be a bad person. Now that you're apologizing, I know you really didn't mean it. Tormues, my pounding heart is making me feel lightheaded. Don't say those kinds of things so frankly. They make me a little too happy. I'm really glad that you're such an understanding person, and I'm really glad that you joined this club. Everything's a little brighter with you around, and... My head is going fuzzy again. Sorry, what am I saying right now? Hey, have you guys seen Monica? Huh? I forgot to be ready for Natsuki to try to interfere. No, I haven't. I was also kind of wondering where she was. No, don't distract him from me. Man. Yuri, I'm guessing you haven't either? No, I haven't. Jeez, this isn't like her at all. I know it's stupid, but I can't help but worry a little bit. I watch her carefully, trying to figure out how best to approach the situation. Perhaps this is an opportunity to publicly express my devotion to Tormues, and that I didn't mean it, calling Natsuki beautiful. Yeah, that's right, that's the other thing, Yuri called her beautiful in the middle of their fight the other day. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Natsuki, about yesterday, I just wanted to apologize. I promise I didn't mean any of the things I said. And I'll do my best to stay under control from now on. So...
Yuri, what the heck are you talking about? Did you do something yesterday?
Eh?
Well, I stabbed her, I think. Why is she acting like it didn't mean anything? Why do I feel so hurt by that? Oh yeah, that's the other thing that, Yuri now sort of sees cutting and stabbing as an act of affection or love or whatever. Jeez. Whatever's on your mind, I'm sure it was nothing. I don't even remember anything bad happening. You're the kind of person who worries too much about the little things, aren't you? I'm so confused. Does this mean she liked it when I cut her? That shouldn't excite me like this. But... I'll accept your apology anyway, if it helps you feel better about it. Besides, it's kind of nice to hear, since I was afraid you secretly hated me or something like that. I was not prepared for the friendly look she's giving me now.
No, not at all. I don't hate you.
What am I saying? Well, you're kind of weird, but I don't hate you either. She turns to Tormues. You're still on trial, though. Hey. Just then, Monica bursts in through the door.
Sorry, I'm super sorry.
Monica, Natsuki, and Tormues are talking among themselves, but I'm still thinking about what Natsuki just said. It sounded like she hasn't decided whether she likes me or Tormues more. Why does that make me feel like I have to compete for her affection? That's just silly. It's a trick of some kind. It has to be. She's still trying to keep me and Tormues apart. Well, I'll just have to make sure that any contact that happens between me and Natsuki happens on my own terms. I have to focus on getting Tormues' attention again. I should try to rejoin the conversation.
I must not have heard it since I was practicing piano. Piano? I wasn't aware you played music as well, Monica. Don't give me more credit than I deserve. I guess I've been practicing for a while, but I'm still not really good yet. Still, that must require a lot of dedication, so I'm still impressed.
Oh, well thanks, Yuri. You should play something for us sometime.
That's...
Monica suddenly turns her focus toward Tormues.
Well, I am working on writing a song, but it's not quite done yet. Maybe once I get a little bit better I will.
That sounds cool. I look forward to it.
Is that so? In that case, I won't let you down, Tormues. She's beaming at him in a very flirtatious manner. What's more, he's smiling bashfully back as he continues talking to her. This won't do. I have to get him away from her. Wait for my first opportunity when there's a momentary lull in the conversation. I like that momentary, that it's blink and you miss it, look of dismay on Monika's face before she disappears. Tormues, since your compliments put me in a good mood, I was wondering if you would like to spend some time together today. I mean, in the club. I suppose so. I don't think I could say no to you after you gave that book to me. Well, I guess I need to make sure Natsuki isn't waiting for me. After we finished reading yesterday, she's fine. She's reading over there, see? I point to where Natsuki has returned to her manga in the closet. Don't think about her so much. She's used to being ignored. Come on, we're going over there. What just happened? Where am I? What's the story about anyway? What's he talking about? Well, I seem to be sitting in a seat near the front of the room with my old copy of Portrait of Markov in front of me. I guess we're talking about the book? I take a moment to look at the blurb on the back of the book. I need this time to try to calm myself. It seems like the more time I spend in this company, the more my heart pounds. Basically, it's about this religious camp that was turned into a human experiment prison. And the people trapped there have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. But the facility gets even worse, and they start selectively breeding people by cutting off their limbs and affixing them to... He looks perturbed. Oh, that might have been a little bit of a spoiler. Of course, I just remembered Natsuki's been steering him toward her interests. I'll have to gradually bring him back on the right path. By the way, incidentally, what happened here is yeah, it's following the original game where if you try to do the Natsuki route in Act 2, it pulls you back onto the Yuri route. And it does exactly what it just did right there. Like, the music abruptly cuts off and the screen goes black, and then suddenly MC's talking to Yuri about her book. And it's just this weird discontinuity. This deliberate discontinuity. Anyway, moving on. But anyway, I'm really into it. The book, I mean, not the thing about the limbs. That's kind of... I'll have to be gentle in how I bring him around to my way of thinking. This is going to take all my finesse and cleverness, which makes me wish all the more that I could think clearly. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Tormues? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy these kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. It's just that this kind of story, it's the kind that challenges you to look at life from a strange new perspective, when horrible things happen not just because someone wants to be evil, but because the world is full of horrible people and we're all worthless anyway. And suddenly... Where did that come from? I feel like I'm losing control of myself. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. He's so patient, as any lover should be. Well, I guess it's alright then. Oh yeah, and obviously the suddenly is part of the game's breakdown. But I feel I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. That's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? Yes. I mean, you don't have to, but what are you saying? I have to focus. Why is it getting so hard to focus? Let me just get the book. He retrieves the new Portrait of Markov book from his bag. All right, it's fine if I sit here, right? He takes a seat next to me. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. My heart is pounding so hard I can barely hear him. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. All right. This is the extra fast heartbeat effect there. He opens his book in front of him and starts reading. I did it. I'm reading with him. That's exactly what I wanted. He's so close to me I can practically feel his body heat emanating from him. If only my heart wasn't pounding so hard, I might be able to think of what to say. I'm trying to calm myself. I won't be able to win him over if I don't calm myself. Gradually I'm able to relax a little, or as much as I can expect to in the circumstances. The dizzying feeling of being so close to him is making it harder and harder to sit still, harder and harder to remain calm. I keep looking at him, hoping I can think of something to say. Eventually he looks back at me and our eyes meet. Sorry, I was just... You really apologize a lot, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? When he stands up, I feel a well of despair mixing up my insides. He better not be thinking of going back to Natsuki. But no, he's sliding his desk closer to mine. He makes his intent obvious when he puts his own book down in between us where we can both see it. I suppose so. He's sitting even closer to me. Our bodies are almost touching. I wish more than ever I could think of what to say, but my pounding heart seems determined to keep me from speaking. I try to occupy myself with putting my copy of the book away, but it doesn't make me any calmer, especially when I recognize the symbolism of the position we're in. It's very much like the beings from the story, our arms and hands working together despite being from separate people. I'm barely aware that he's still talking. I'm too focused on assuming a symbiotic position. Soon we're reading together, with him turning each page with his right hand and passing it to my left hand. I find myself fantasizing about how wonderful it would be for us to be bound together permanently, to have our limbs working in tandem like this forever. I've already proved I can be proficient with my sewing kit. I wonder how hard it would be to sew our bodies together. Are you ready? Eh? The book. To turn the page. Sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. Our eyes meet again. I feel like I could gaze into those eyes forever. I can't wait to do just that. But for now, the book. I have to focus on the book. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. As we continue reading, I find myself watching his beautiful hand as it moves over the page. I long to cut it open and watch rivers of blood pour out. I wonder how long we would have to be seeing each other before it would be appropriate to start cutting him open. I really want to do it now, but this is our first date, right? That would be way too forward. Still, the more I imagine it, the more my heart pounds, the more my desire grows. My hand finds its way to Pyro's grip in my pocket. Maybe I could just ask him if it would be alright to cut him a little? The worst he could say is no, right? Like, right? My heart is pounding so hard at the thought of doing that my senses are swimming. But somewhere in the fury going on within me, I remind myself that I still need to win him over and I need to do it gradually. I don't know if I can take the pressure of waiting. I feel like if I don't cut something soon, I'm going to burst. Suddenly I realize that the buzzing noise I'm hearing is actually his voice. The main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. Something I was going to say. Oh yeah, the comment. The worst you could say is no. Like, you know, that classic line. It's like... as if this is a really casual thing to ask him about. I mean, character reminds me of you a bit. No, I don't relate to this character at all. Definitely not. Really? I was just thinking the way she second guesses the things she says and all that. That's what you were talking about. Sorry, I thought you meant something else about her. Something else? Never mind. We didn't even get that far yet, so I don't know why that came into my head. Yuri, are you feeling alright? I force myself to release Pyro and take my hand out of my pocket, but I can't stop my hands from shaking. You can rest if you're feeling sick or something. Your breathing is a little... Wait, breathing? I put my hands to my chest, feeling my heart pounding faster than ever. I'm only now conscious of the fact that I've been panting the whole time I was watching his hand. I didn't even notice. Anyway, I'm fine. I just need some water. Cut something. I stagger into the girls' washroom. I'm pulling Pyro out of my pocket as I take a seat in the nearest toilet. The stupid bandages in my thigh are in the way. I just cut right through them. The extra sting from going over my old cuts brings welcome relief, but it isn't as satisfying because the bandage soaks up the blood. I want to see it. Well, what if... I start rolling up my left sleeve. It's a little awkward pulling up both the blazer and undershirt sleeve, but I manage to get them up to my elbow. I feel a lot calmer after I add another mark to the row of existing marks on my forearm. That's better. I smile at the trail of blood lazily dripping out of my arm. That will be much easier to hide. As I start catching and cleaning up all the blood, my head is feeling a little clearer, and I have some time to think. I wonder all over again, why do I have to keep this a secret? Everything would be so much easier if I could just freely cut myself in the clubroom. I smile as I imagine what it could be like. Anytime I feel like taking a break from reading, I could cut myself a couple times and then just resume reading afterward. Maybe I wouldn't have to do it in such unhygienic surroundings like on a public toilet. I imagine sharing and comparing the marks on my body with the others. Well, obviously, Tormues is the one I would like to share with most of all, but it would be nice to have a friend to share with. I let out a sigh of longing. As fuzzy as my head has been lately, I'm still very aware that I don't have any friends, or at least not human friends. I give Pyro a quick hug in case they feel neglected. It's sort of a cute image, in a macabre way. Well, once I get with Tormues, maybe they won't matter anymore. That is, if I can get with Tormues. It just occurred to me that I walked out on him in the middle of reading together. I hope he isn't mad at me, but even if he is, maybe it'll be okay. I can just offer to cut him a few extra times to make him feel better. Of course. In fact, I would gladly do it. Thinking about it is making me eager to return to the clubroom to resume reading with him. I take a moment to make myself presentable and head out. I return, eager to get back to reading with Tormues, but he's no longer in his seat and his book is nowhere to be seen. Instead, he's talking to Monica, and they're each holding papers in front of themselves. Is she trying to steal him away again? This is getting tiresome. Yuri, I'm back. Did I miss anything? Not really. Well, we all started sharing our poems with each other. Eh? Poems? I'm a little stunned. Didn't we do that yesterday? I suddenly realize that I'm the only one in the room not holding a sheet of paper. Even Natsuki, looking bored sitting in the corner, has one. Already? I'm sorry for being late. No need to apologize. We still have plenty of time, so I'm glad you took all the time you needed. I give her a wary look. Something about her tone makes me wonder if she knows what I left the room for, and it also makes me wonder all over again if she's somehow able to sense my thoughts. All right. Thanks, Monica. I suppose I should go get my poem now. I'm feeling rattled. I nervously turn to my bag to get my notebook. It's like one of those big fears, coming into school and finding some assignment was due you never knew about. One of those things you dream about for years, even after leaving school. It's just, I don't know. It's like a primal fear or something. Anyway, moving on. I nervously turn right back to get my notebook. The way my memory has been lately, it's possible that I actually did write a poem and just forgot about it. But when I start flipping through my notebook, it's completely full of pages and pages of utter nonsense. Still, it will have to do. I take the first page since it at least has a title. Tormues is still occupied with Monica, so I approach Natsuki instead. I present my poem, such as it is, to her. What the hell? I realize it's rather abstract. I don't expect you to understand. Surprise, surprise. Yuri's being all fancy as usual. Bet you've been showing off for Tormues too, huh? I do my best to summon up all my self-confidence. I don't have to show off for Tormues. He wants me for who I am. Ew, seriously? Do you have to... Look, Yuri, can we just not fight today? I've got a lot to deal with lately, and, well, There's a long pause. Earlier today, you apologized to me, and I don't know. I thought maybe... She blushes deeply, making a visible effort to get the words out. Can we be friends? Friends? She wants to be friends. All thoughts of our previous conflict go right out of my head, to be replaced with a feeling of excitement. Imagine how much I'd like to cut into her and taste her sweet blood again. That's something that friends can do, right? My mind is racing with all the possibilities. Never mind. That was a stupid thing to say. Just forget it.
Incidentally, I like the sort of bit of irony that this time around Natsuki is the one who wants to be who says, "Can we be friends?" I deliberately gave her the exact same line as Yuri in the previous act. Anyway, move on.
No, that's all right. Being friends would be nice. In fact, I've wanted to be friends with you for a long time.
I think. Really? Me too. But if you tell anyone I said that, I'll kill you. It's just that things have been really rough at home lately, like rougher than usual. And I don't just mean because I don't have lunch money, and I could really use a friend.
Well, perhaps. Am I really thinking of suggesting this? I could introduce you to some of my friends. They always cheer me up when I'm feeling down.
Oh, okay, sure.
My excitement builds as I pull Pyro out of my pocket. This is Pyro. Pyro, meet Natsuki. Would you like to hold them?
That's okay, Yuri. You can keep your friends to yourself.
Oh. After a long pause, I awkwardly put Pyro back in my pocket. My mind is assailed with crushing disappointment. How dare she? Does she have any idea what it means to me to share my friends? Why would she pretend to want to be friends just to reject me like that? It really was a trick after all, wasn't it? She just wanted to hurt even more. I feel anger welling up inside me. Perhaps I should read her poem now. I give her poem a quick glance as she hands it to me. Oh, this is cute. It's the cutest poem I ever read.
Hey, knock it off.
It's just as cute as you are, with your cute little ribbons and your cute pouty face.
Come on, you don't have to be such a jerk about it.
Has anyone ever told you that you're cute when you're angry?
Stop.
Nah, cutesy.
Particularly pleased with that pun. Natsuki abruptly runs out of the room. Oh, poor Natsuki. Good riddance.
Hey there, Yuri. Any idea why Natsuki just left the club room all of a sudden? I don't know, and I don't care.
Okay. She looked kind of upset. I just kind of wondered if you did something to her.
Oh, you know how she is. She's always whining about something.
I guess you could say that. Well, perhaps we should share our poems now. I suppress the wave of irritation I'm feeling. I want to share with Tormues first, but it doesn't look like there's a graceful way out of this. Incidentally, the second poem that Natsuki shares is in the Natsuki root of Act 2. This is the one that's broken. It's all base 16 text, or base, or whatever number that is. All the gibberish, the stuff that looks like glitched text. Anyway, moving on. She hands me her poem. At first I think I'm hallucinating again. I have to stare at it for a long time before I reach the conclusion that it's not my imagination, that there are letters missing from some of the words. At first it seems to be about pain and torment, but I like the part about the knife on the breathing ribcage. It makes me think lustful thoughts. Who is Monica having lustful thoughts about? It better not be Tormues. Why must I compete with everyone for him? He should be mine. So, what do you think?
I think we'll see who wins in the end.
Okay then? She looks either confused or perturbed, or maybe a combination of the two. That's good. Maybe if I can keep her off balance, it'll give me a better chance. I gaze coldly at her as I hand her my own poem. What the... I mean, when I saw Natsuki's poem, I thought it just meant I broke something, but this is something else. You're turning out to be quite unpredictable, Yuri. And I haven't decided if that's good or bad. I can't make sense of what Monica is saying. Not sure if it's because of my fuzzy headness or if she really is just spouting nonsense.
Probably bad. For you.
I take my poem back from her, trying to hold myself up with as much dignity as I can muster. Are you feeling alright, Yuri?
I
look over to where Tormues is waiting patiently for me.
I'm feeling better than I ever have in my life.
Yeah. So Yuri's dialogue here is sort of intentionally cringy. It's like, what? Because yeah, she's just so out of it that she's saying whatever she thinks is gonna put Monica off. Anyway, moving on. I'm vaguely aware that Monica's still talking to me, but I've stopped caring. I've been waiting for this. Let's see what you've written for today. As he hands me his poem, I feel a now familiar rush of blood at the sensation of holding one of his belongings. I enjoy it so much, it makes me not care but how cutesy his poem is. I let out a sigh. I'd like just holding it. The poem turned out good. It's, well, there are some things that you could work on, but that doesn't really matter. The rush from my pounding heart is making me feel giddy. It feels like anything written by you is a treasure. I can tell that this isn't doing much to endear myself to him. That came out a little awkward. Let's move on. Here's the poem I wrote. You don't have to like it or anything. As he's looking at my poem, I can't help feeling a sense of inadequacy. Even though no one else's poems were particularly impressive, mine might as well have been a bunch of random words. More meta. I'm having trouble reading his expression when he hands it back to me. It doesn't really matter what it's about. My mind has been a little hyperactive lately, so I had to take it out on your pen. A pen fell out of your backpack yesterday, so I took it home for safekeeping, and I just really like the way that it writes, so I wrote this poem with it, and now you're touching it. I feel like I'm about to pass out. I'm okay. Did we share poems already? He's holding my poem, right? Oh, what did I just... I'm no longer sure of what's happening except for an overwhelming feeling that I'm making a fool out of myself. Can we pretend this conversation never happened? You can keep the poem, though. This is too much. I need to calm myself again. I have to do that in private, right? The room swims as I make my way to the door. And I almost run to Natsuki as she's coming back in. She pushes past me without a word. Okay, everyone. I let out a soft groan. I don't think I can leave the room unnoticed now. We're all done reading each other's poems, right? We have something we need to go over today, so if everyone could come sit at the front of the room. I join everyone else in the seats at the front, clutching my hands together to hide how fidgety they are. Is this about the festival? Well, sort of. Do we really have to do something for the festival? It's not like we can put together anything good in just a few days. We'll just end up embarrassing ourselves instead of getting any new members. As much as I loathe the idea of agreeing with Natsuki, I don't think I can bring myself to focus on festival preparations right now. My mind is too scattered. That's a concern of mine as well. I don't really do well with last-minute preparations. Don't worry so much. We're going to keep it simple, okay? I tune out the rest of the conversation. Who cares about the festival? I'm vaguely aware that there's an argument happening between Monica and Natsuki, but it feels irrelevant. I'd much rather fantasize about Tormues, imagining all the things I'd like to do to him. I could start by cutting his extremities, his hands and feet, and work my way along his arms and legs. Suddenly I hear my name. Yuri never even talked before Tormues joined. As for me, I just like it better than I do at home. Never mind. It's just Natsuki whining again. Back to fantasizing. Maybe someday, when our relationship is more firmly established, I'll be able to cut more deeply into him. I close my eyes and imagine it, enjoying the rapturous feeling of being inside him, entwining my fingers with his intestines. Thinking about it arouses me so much. I'm going to have to change my underwear when I get home. Why did I write that line? Suddenly I'm aware of a heavy silence in the air. What has Natsuki done now? Now you've done it, Natsuki. What? Me? I just spoke my mind. Is it a crime to be honest? I can imagine what she must have said. It's not about being honest. It's about word choice. Besides, you have no right to speak for everyone else in the club like that. You don't understand at all. I just want a place that feels nice to hang out with a few friends. Is there a problem with the club being that for me? There aren't many other places like that for me. Now Monica wants to take it away from me. She's not taking anything away. No, Tormues, it's not the same. It won't be the same with the direction she wants to take it. if I want that, then I could have just joined any other stupid club. But this one, I mean, at least for a little bit of time, things are nice. She glances at me one more time before looking away to pack up her things. I'm going home. I feel like I don't belong here right now.
Natsuki.
Natsuki doesn't look at me as she walks out of the classroom. Why am I feeling so guilty? Why am I feeling so bad about this? I should be glad that I'm rid of Natsuki for the moment. Monika's in the corner with her face in her hands. I'm practically alone with Tormues right now. I should be taking advantage of it. Am I ruining my chances with him again? This is bad. I don't know what to do. Well, do you have an opinion on the festival? I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent, I guess. Who cares about that obnoxious brat? Am I still thinking about Natsuki? Why can't I focus? I mean, I like how nice and quiet the club is right now, and I'm just happy with you here. But still, I'm the vice president. It's not right for me to ignore my responsibilities like that. Nobu would cry if she killed herself. Did I say that out loud? I know I keep asking myself that, but I'm really not sure this time. Those lines are the game breaking down more. Why do I keep feeling compelled to talk about Natsuki? I should do my best to consider everyone's perspective and make the decision that's right for the club. But what about you, Tormues? What do you want to get out of this club? There. Rather pleased with how I asked that. Very proper and professional. For once, my pounding heart isn't overwhelming my ability to speak. I think the most important thing is for everyone to get along, and for the club to provide something that you can't get anywhere else. I don't think it's about how many members, but rather the quality of each member. That's what will end up making the literature club a special place. I see. Despite the haze of my mind, I can tell that was a rather non-committal response. It really was. It didn't really answer the question of whether or not he wants to try to get more members. So I guess he's leaving it up to me? Which means the answer is obvious. I should go with the option that frustrates Natsuki. I really agree with you. Each member contributes their own qualities in a special way. With each change in members, the identity of the club as a whole will change too. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, stepping out of your comfort zone once in a while. So if you would like to help Monika with the festival, then I'm on your side as well. Note Monika perking up when her name is mentioned. Alright. Well, maybe we can all talk to Natsuki tomorrow. And Monika smiles when she realizes they're on her side. This is the subtle things like that. I nod, smiling, picturing us all going against Natsuki together, putting her in her place. Hey, Yuri. Huh? I'd almost forgotten that Monika's still here. I know things were a little awkward yesterday, but I feel like you deserve to know that I still think you're a wonderful vice president, and also a wonderful friend. Friend? Monika. I'm so overjoyed that Monika wants to be friends that I want to pull out my knife and cut my throat right now. No, wait. I shouldn't cut my throat. Then I would die. That wouldn't be right. Why did that thought even enter my head? Obviously I don't want to die. Maybe I'm not as in control as I thought. So yeah, that's in Yuri's route, she has a line about Monika making her feel like she wanted to cut her throat. So that's a reference to it. And then there's the comment that she doesn't want to die, just to build a bit of intrigue about how this is going to play out. Since anyone playing this will know that Yuri dies at the end, so, from killing herself, so. That's not a spoiler, or it shouldn't be a spoiler, because you've already played the original game, right? Anyway. I want to do everything I can to make this the best club ever. Okay? Me too. Yeah. Let's all go home for today. We'll talk about the festival tomorrow. Okay. I look forward to it. Shall we go, Tormues? Please don't take this the wrong way, but I'm going to chat a little bit with Tormues before we leave. Just to see what he thinks of his time here and all that. It's important to me as president.
Now I feel torn. I really want to spend more time with Tormues, but something about Monica calling me a friend awakens a deep longing in me. As jumbled as my memories and emotions have been lately, I know that Monica's been someone that I've looked up to for a long time. Okay. I trust your judgment, Monica. In that case, I'll see the two of you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. I'll give a cheerful wave as I leave. Hold on a second. I'm just going to pause the recording for a second. Sorry about the interruption there. Yeah, the neighbors were walking by and making a lot of noise. I don't know if my mic was picking it up, but it was very distracting. Like there was some raised voices and doors slamming. It was kind of distracting. Anyway, where was I? I just wanted to wait for them to pass. Oh yes, okay, so Yuri's heading home. Or is she? Once I'm out of the club room, doubt starts to creep in. Am I sure this wasn't another trick to get rid of me? Should I go back in and lay my claim on him? I'm still feeling a raw hunger to do things to him, but I force myself to leave instead. Because I've got a better idea. I start walking. Almost as if my feet have a mind of their own, they guide me to a place from forgotten memory. Is this the right house? I suppose this is where I find out if my years of people watching have paid off. My memory is as hazy as ever, but I recall that I've only ever seen it from a distance. I wonder why I was never brave enough to approach it before. I summon up my confidence and ring the doorbell. Hello? It's him! I was hoping he would remember me, but the confused look on his face says otherwise. That could make us awkward. Hi. I don't know if my own memory is coherent enough to fill in the gaps for him. You and I have only met once before, I think. So, it's understandable if you don't remember me. I wish I'd learned his name at some point. No. Never seen you before. No way I forget tits like those. Suddenly conscious of the fact that he hasn't been making eye contact since this conversation began. By force of habit, I hold my hands in front of my chest, futile though that may be. This isn't going well. The fact that he brought out my worst features helps what little confidence I have, but I know I have to press on. I strain to recall any details I can. You came to me when I was reading my anatomy book. You asked me about it. I talked to you about how the human body works, and you called me a know-it-all. Holy shit. Yeah, I remember you now. That was a long time ago. You're that creepy chick that was going on about blood and bones and shit. Yes! I can barely restrain myself from jumping up and down in excitement. And then you punched me in the face. I can't help grinning now that we're finally making a connection. So what? You looking for an apology or something? Apology? For what? He left marks on me. That's a sign that he likes me, right? Am I remembering the details wrong? No. I just thought... I look away bashfully as I continue. Perhaps you'd like some more intimacy? What the fuck? Fuck off, bitch. No one wants to put their dick in crazy. Well, perhaps you'd like to consider putting crazy in your dick? I continue giggling all the way home. I'm still grinning as I enter my room, casually licking his blood off of Pyro's blade. Did you like my little joke, Pyro? I thought you would. And yes, I thought that went well too. It was just what I needed. Maybe I'll visit him again tomorrow. So yeah, I have to comment on that. Obviously, that was the bully that she alluded to back in Act 1. The guy that, punched her in the face and then basically beat her up for no reason. So it's kind of for the benefit of anyone who felt bad for Yuri in that scene. It's like, there you go. She got her revenge, I guess.
but in a way that's kind of like, well, that was kind of, you know, and I kind of like that pun there. Yeah, that's right. Yuri knifed him in the dick. And it also highlights the fact that Yuri, at this point, is failing to distinguish between hurting and acts of love, or acts of affection, or whatever. And I need to pause the recording again. Sorry, I'll be right back. And moving on. Maybe I'll visit him again tomorrow. I feel like writing about this. I pull up a fresh piece of paper and sit at my desk. I try to recall everything I felt during the experience as I write, but it seems to come back to me garbled. I'm too excited to keep my hands from shaking. I need something to calm me down. I think this would be a good time for tea. The kitchen looks exactly as I remember it. It seems that my parents are home early. My mom is sitting at the kitchen table with a book in front of her. My dad is in front of the kitchen counter. Of course, they don't look up or speak when I come in. They never do. Sometimes I wonder if they even know I'm alive. My dad is blocking the way to the kettle. I stand behind him, waiting for my turn. It seems like he always manages to be in an inconvenient location. It's getting quite aggravating. I'm trying to be patient, but my hands are starting to twitch in anger. I can't wait any longer. Move, Dad. He doesn't move. He doesn't even look up. I said move! I roughly shove him aside. He still doesn't look at me, but at least he's not in my way anymore. I fill the kettle with water and start to heat it for the tea. While I'm waiting for it to boil, I entertain myself by jumping in the puddle in the middle of the floor. Splash, splash, splash! I'm being silly and I know it, but I still can't help giggling at the pretty patterns I'm making on the walls. It makes me smile, imagining inviting Tormues over to admire the impromptu artwork I'm creating. I know he'd like it, and then I could take him right here on the kitchen table, using one of the many knives to choose from here. Speaking of knives, the bread knife catches my eye. It looks like my dad was cutting bread earlier and left it out. I could do with some bread right now, I think. As I start to cut the bread, I'm annoyed to realize how stale it is. My parents must have left it out all day. How inconsiderate. But I cut my fingers a few times, and that makes me feel a little better about it. Still, I could use something to moisten the bread a little. Maybe... I glance over at my dad. He has the chef knife. I could put that to use. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I just take it. He doesn't seem to be using it right now anyway. I grasp the handle of the knife. It takes a couple of tugs to get it out. It's embedded pretty deep. When I get it out of him, it brings this fresh spurt of blood that adds to the puddle on the floor. I spread his blood on the piece of bread I've cut and give it a taste. The texture of the bread is much improved. That's just what I needed. Thanks, Dad. Again, he doesn't respond or look up. Maybe he's still mad at me for raising my voice earlier. I'm sorry for losing my temper. I've just had a stressful day at school. I guess it's made me pretty excitable. Still no response. Maybe I should just focus on the tea. Soon, I finish preparing the tea and I pour myself a cup. I taste it. It's missing something. I survey the room, getting ideas, and I walk over to where my mom is sitting. I run my fingers over the surface of the table, but the blood is all dried. It's covering her book. I don't know how she can expect to read it like that, but I don't judge. I find a fresh source of blood by dipping my finger into the hole in her throat. I stir the tea with my finger and taste it again. Much better. Good enough that I decide to mix them with my oolong leaves for next time. Thanks, Mom. She doesn't respond. I guess both my parents are giving me the silent treatment. That's nothing new, of course. I'm still thinking about it as I put my bread on a plate and prepare to go back upstairs. There are so many wonderful things going on in my life lately. I just wish my parents could just share in my enjoyment of it. But I could have some kind of relationship with them. Well, now that I think about it, what's stopping me?
I'm almost out of the room when I turn back to face them. Mom? Dad? I just want to say I'm sorry for being difficult lately. I want you to know I appreciate everything you've done for me, and I love you. Why can't I say it? Never mind. Embarrassed, I quickly head back to my room. Sorry, I'm just waiting for the music. Anyway, yeah, so there you go. There you have it. Yuri killed her parents. And it's... So, yeah, obviously going for the horrific idea that not only did she kill her parents, but she wasn't aware of it. And she treated it as if it was an act of love. Just to highlight just how thoroughly messed up she is right now. In case it wasn't clear, I was trying to imply that dream sequence at the beginning of the day when she killed Yuri and Natsuki, she was actually killing her parents. Like, she cut her mom's throat and then stabbed her dad repeatedly. Which also implies that her dad screamed like a little girl, but you know. Which also brings about the irony that whereas in the other rooms that she kept hallucinating blood, here it's actually bloody, and if she was briefly hallucinating it not bloody. You know, just for the irony. So yeah, so basically I'm messed up and need professional help. Why did I write this? What's wrong with me? But aside from that, yeah, there are a couple other comments I wanted to make. Yeah, basically I just wanted to have the audience have this sort of slow creeping realization that her parents are dead. Like, I don't want the audience to realize they're dead right away, and that Yuri's like talking to a pair of dead bodies this whole scene. Yeah, and that bit about the oolong leaves, that's, in all honesty, that was just thrown in as an afterthought. That was added later because she makes a passing reference to bring her best tea in the next day, and I felt like I have to make something of that, but there isn't really anywhere to fit it in, so I really just threw it in as an afterthought. It's not perfect, but you know. Yeah. So yeah, so that's all very horrific and stuff. Let's move on. I like that smooth transition between the musics. I don't know. I have the music turned down pretty low for the recording purposes, so you can still hear my voice. But so I hope it comes through a little bit at least. Anyway. This all reminds me that I have to tell Tormues that I love him soon. How will I be able to say that to him if I can't even bring myself to say it to my parents? I think about this as I'm eating my bread and drinking my tea. I think it's time for me to get serious. To stop thinking about friendships and casual relationships, and really build the romance between me and Tormues. The more I think about it, the more aroused I feel. A smile comes over my face as I take off my uniform. I take a seat on my bed and look over my body. See, there are still a lot of areas untouched by my friends. It's still Pyro's turn today, so I pick them up and choose a spot. I bring the point of Pyro's blade in contact with my abdomen. I ever so gently allow Pyro to penetrate my skin. This will be an exercise in self-control. I don't want to go too deep just now, just enough to draw a pretty picture.
I slowly, carefully drag Pyro across the surface of my skin, taking in the sensations of the experience as I complete the pattern I have in mind. When I'm finished, I take a moment to admire my work. I now have a heart drawn around my navel. It looks a little excessively bloody right now, but it will look very nice when it scars. And Tormues will surely appreciate the romantic implications. I can't wait to be able to share it with him. And speaking of sharing, I find myself thinking about earlier today sharing Portrait of Markov with him, even though I behaved a little embarrassingly. It makes me look forward to tomorrow, when I'll surely be able to share with him some more. And it gives me another idea. I grin to myself as I remove my bra, and I take up Pyro again. I can't help giggling a little as I drag their blade across my left breast, drawing a circle. When I'm finished, I look at my work and burst out laughing. It looks like I have a third eye. I lie back on my bed and laugh and laugh and laugh. This is the best thing I've ever done. I briefly considered doing the same on my other breast, but I quickly reject that notion. A fourth eye would just be silly. I lie there, continuing to daydream about Tormues, 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 Tormues. Soon he will be mine, mind, body, and soul. I giggle, especially his body, every part of his body, every piece. Thinking about it makes me want to write some more. I take up Tormues' pen and sit at my desk again. But as soon as I sit down, my breast comes in contact with the page, smearing blood on it. At first I'm annoyed at how inconveniently large my breasts are. They keep getting in the way. But I decide to work with it, using my fingertips to spread my blood across the page. It's more artistic that way. As I resume writing, I come to appreciate how the blood complements the poem. The more I look at it, the more I admire it, the more I feel like this could be a good gift for Tormues. A poem that has a little something from both of us. Though I think it could do with a little more for me. I know just what to do. I'm dreamily thinking about it as I change into my pajamas, and I take the poem to bed with me. Okay, I think that's a good time to save and come back to this another time. Yeah, this is just basically just getting more and more messed up. Main menu. Let's just take a moment to appreciate the new track. So yeah, just now that the cat's out of the bag, I decided to make that the main menu music. Where was I? Yeah, so yeah, just the mod is just kind of just generally trying to get more and more horrific. You've got the main menu changing to bloody Yuri just to continue highlighting that, along with the new music. What am I writing this mod? What am I doing? Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. I swear I'm going somewhere with it. I swear. You'll see. It's coming. It's coming soon. It's coming a little later on. I don't know. I got nothing for now. So I'm just gonna end this recording now and say until next time.